Just looking at it sitting here, it gives off that clean, simple kind of design I actually like in home tech. It is a round, white robot with a raised LiDAR dome on top, and the dock behind it is bigger than I expected, kind of like a small appliance on its own. I do not feel like I need to hide it when someone comes over, but I also had to think a little about where that dock would live because it does take up real space. I have been using this for a while now, so I figured I would share some thoughts, especially from the point of view of someone who just wants their floors handled without turning it into a whole hobby. This is a robot vacuum that also mops, and it is mainly for people who want day-to-day cleanup done automatically. If you have pets, kids, or you just hate seeing crumbs and dust build up, it fits that kind of life. I have a small dog, and the constant hair along edges and corners was the main reason I wanted a robot in the first place. I also work busy days, so anything that keeps my place looking decent without me thinking about it matters. What makes this one different for me is the combination of strong vacuuming, a roller setup that deals with hair better than most, and a dock that empties the dust bin on its own. I have owned vacuums where you end up dealing with hair wrapped around brushes constantly. Here, I still check it, but it is not that same annoying weekly mess. Build quality feels solid. When I pick it up, it does not feel flimsy or creaky. The top button layout is simple, and the main thing you notice is that LiDAR dome. It is basically what helps it map and navigate. The dock feels sturdy too, though it is definitely not small. If you are in a tight apartment, you will notice it. I had to move a small side table to give it a spot where the robot could come in and out cleanly. Setup was easier than I expected. I plugged in the dock, placed the robot on it, downloaded the Roborock app, and it showed up quickly. It felt a lot like pairing a set of wireless headphones. Then I let it do its first mapping run. Watching the map appear in real time is one of those things that sounds like a gimmick until you see how useful it is. It moved slowly at the start, like it was surveying the room, and the map became more accurate as it went. After the map was created, the app let me label rooms and set boundaries. The no-go zones ended up being more important than I thought. I used them around a corner where I have some pet bowls and a mat that sometimes bunches up. I also used a zone near a cable cluster behind my media console. It can avoid obstacles, but I still prefer not to test its patience with cords. Daily use is simple. Most days I just hit start in the app or let a schedule run. The robot leaves the dock, does its cleaning, then returns and empties itself. That self-emptying part is a big quality of life thing. I am the kind of person who forgets to empty a dust bin, and I do not miss dealing with it every run. The bag in the dock holds a lot. In my place, it lasts around a month, sometimes longer depending on how often I run it and how much my dog is shedding. Now, real cleaning. On hard floors, it picks up the stuff I actually care about, like dust, crumbs, and that fine pet hair that gathers along baseboards. I used to see little hair tumbleweeds in corners. Those are basically gone as long as I keep my routine consistent. I do not need it to make the floor look like it was detailed by hand. I need it to keep the floor from getting gross between deeper clean days. It does that. On carpet, it does a better job than I expected, especially with hair. It is not magic. If you have a thick rug that traps hair deep down, you will still want a normal vacuum sometimes. But for regular maintenance, it keeps carpets looking presentable. One thing I pay attention to is whether hair tangles up the brush system. This model uses 2 rubber rollers. In my experience, that helps. I still find some hair, but it is less of that wrapped, knotted mess that takes forever to cut out. Navigation has been dependable. After mapping, it moves like it knows where it is going. It does not wander randomly in my place. It also handles furniture changes better than I expected. If I slide a chair out of place, it does not freak out. It just works around it. If I make bigger changes, like moving a small table, it adjusts on the next run without me doing anything special. Obstacle avoidance is decent, but I still think you should help it out a little. If I leave a charging cable on the floor, I am taking a risk. If I leave a sock in the hallway, it might avoid it, or it might nudge it and drag it for a bit. For day-to-day life, I have learned that a quick 30-second pickup of loose stuff makes every run smoother. Once I got into that habit, the robot felt more reliable. Mopping is more like light maintenance than real scrubbing. It has a water tank and a pad, and you can control water flow in the app. I use a lower water setting on my stone kitchen floor most of the time, and I increase it when I see dried spots near the sink area. It will not replace getting on the floor and scrubbing something sticky. It will handle that thin layer of dust and the faint footprints that make a floor look dull. When I run vacuum and mop together a few times a week, my floors stay consistently cleaner with less effort from me. There are a couple of practical things you still have to do. You need to refill the water tank when you are using mopping regularly. You also need to clean the mop pad and check the filter now and then. The self-emptying dock handles dust, but it does not remove the normal maintenance entirely. It just reduces how often you deal with it. Battery life has been strong in my use. It runs long enough that I do not think about it. It finishes my space without drama. If it does run low, it goes back to the dock, charges, then continues where it left off. That sounds simple, but it matters because it means I do not have to babysit it. The app is a big part of the experience. I use it to pick rooms, set schedules, adjust suction and water, and check cleaning history. I also like being able to tell it to avoid a room when I have guests or when I have something on the floor I do not want it to bother. Once it is set up, it is easy to live with. I also tried voice control with Alexa, and it works when I want to start a run without grabbing my phone. Now, a few small complaints from real use. The dock is large, so space planning matters. The emptying sound is not quiet. It is short, but you will notice it. Also, during mopping, you can sometimes hear a light squeak from the pad on certain floors. It is not constant, but in a very quiet home, you will hear it. Another thing is that mapping is only as good as your first run. If your floor is cluttered during mapping, you might end up remapping later. I recommend doing that initial run when the floor is clear. Who is this for? Based on how I actually used it. It is for someone who wants their floors kept under control with minimal daily effort. If you have pets that shed, it helps a lot with keeping hair from building up everywhere. If you have kids, it helps with crumbs and tracked in dirt. If you are busy and you want to come home to a place that feels cleaner than you left it, that is the real value. Overall, living with the Roborock Cape Max Plus has made my cleaning routine feel lighter. It does not replace a deep clean, and it is not completely hands-off, but it reduces the frequency of the annoying stuff. I spend less time thinking about floors, and that is really the point. If this video helped, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with any questions, or tell me what robot vacuum you are using and how it is going for you. Thank you for watching.